Craigslist isn't just for buying and selling. From the creepiest Craigslist ads on the internet to the most disturbing Craigslist ads with horrific backstories, we will take you on a journey through the darkest corners of this online marketplace. Some people use Craigslist to satisfy their twisted desires and inflict unimaginable horrors on their unsuspecting victims. Here are 5 of the most disturbing Craigslist ads that will leave you speechless. Ad number 5. Free kittens to good home. Don't get fooled by the title. This ad seems like a kind-hearted person looking to give away kittens to good homes. But it turned out to be a cover-up for a gruesome and sickening operation. The woman who responded to the ad was a cat lover and had been searching for a new furry friend to adopt. When she saw the ad offering free kittens, she couldn't resist and contacted the person who posted it. They agreed to meet in person so she could choose a kitten to take home. The woman shuddered as she walked through the dark alleyway. The street lights were dim and she couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. She responded to a Craigslist ad for free kittens and was eager to take one home. But now, as she approached the address, she felt a sense of dread settling in. As she entered the house, she couldn't help but notice the overwhelming stench of cat urine. The lights were on, and the only source of illumination was a single candle flickering on a nearby table. The woman heard movement in the shadows and called out, "Hello?" No one answered, but she could feel eyes on her. Suddenly, a man appeared out of nowhere, startling her. "You were here for the kittens, right?" he said with a smile. The woman nodded, trying to hide her unease. The man led her through the darkened house and into a room in the back. The woman's heart pounded as she realized that the room was filled with dozens of cages, each one holding a cat or kitten. The man chuckled as he saw her reaction. "Isn't it great?" he said. "I love cats. I just can't get enough of them." The woman tried to back away, but the man grabbed her arm. "Don't go just yet," he said. "Let me show you something." He led her to a cage in the corner of the room. Inside, a small kitten cowered in fear. The woman felt a pang of sympathy for the animal and reached out to pet it. But the man suddenly slammed the cage shut, trapping the kitten inside. "Isn't that fun?" he said with a sick grin. "I love watching them suffer." He was not a cat lover, but a sadistic psychopath who got pleasure from torturing innocent animals. She tried to run, but the man was too quick. He cornered her in the room. The woman felt a surge of fear as she realized she might not make it out alive. Just when all hope seemed lost, the police burst in and apprehended the man. They rescued the remaining cats and kittens, but the woman would never forget the terror she felt that night. Would you be able to defend yourself if you were in her place? Ad number 4. Vintage doll collection for sale. Think of Annabelle, but more creepy. The vintage doll collection ad seemed harmless, but behind it was a sinister force that would make anyone's skin crawl. The listing was a front for a disturbed individual's twisted obsession. Someone who had a fixation on collecting dolls and adding macabre details to them. The woman who responded to the ad was unsuspecting, and her curiosity led her to visit the seller's home. But as she approached the house, a strange smell filled her nostrils, and she felt an eerie sensation deep in her bones. The air was heavy with a foreboding presence that set her nerves on edge. She walked into the house, and the dolls were everywhere. They were arranged on shelves and cabinets and even on the floor. Their eyes seemed to follow her, and their expressions were all too lifelike. She was overwhelmed by the unsettling feeling that something was wrong. As she moved further into the house, she noticed some dolls had human hair and teeth. Her fear grew, and she could no longer contain her anxiety. She turned around to leave but found herself trapped, unable to escape. The woman's panicked state drew attention, and the police were soon notified. They arrived at the scene, and what they found was beyond their worst nightmares. The cellar had a secret room filled with human bones and body parts. It was clear that this person was not only obsessed with dolls, but also with mutilating and dismembering human beings. The authorities believed that the seller was a serial killer who used the ad as a way to lure in victims. The dolls were his sickening trophies, and he had taken his depravity to another level. The story of this vintage doll collection ad is one that will haunt anyone who hears it. But that doesn't come close to the most disturbing Craigslist ad you'll get in this video. Ad number 3. Need a room ASAP. This wasn't any normal room for rent ad. It seemed like a great opportunity for someone looking for a place to live, but it turned out to be a nightmare for the person who responded. A young woman responded to the ad and moved in with the person who posted it. At first, everything seemed normal, but then things started to take a dark turn. The young woman had no idea what horrors awaited her when she responded to the ad for a roommate. The ad promised a clean and spacious room, and the price was just right. But it was a trap, and the price she would have to pay was far more than she ever imagined. The woman moved in with the person who posted the ad, and everything seemed normal at first. But as time passed, strange things began to happen. She felt like she was constantly being watched, and the feeling of being followed never went away. One day, the woman found a hidden camera in her room. The discovery left her feeling violated and scared. She knew that something was not right and called the police. Police found disturbing items in a torture chamber, including handcuffs, knives, and various tools used for inflicting pain. It was clear that the person who posted the ad had been planning to use the young woman as his next victim. The woman rushed out of the apartment and tried to put the terrifying experience behind her, but the trauma would stay with her forever. She knew that she had narrowly escaped with her life, and the thought of what could have happened still haunts her to this day. The feeling of being watched by something unknown is disturbing to the core. Ad number 2. Wanted. Someone to watch my child. Sounds like easy money for someone desperate, but it was much more than that. The dark and twisted world of Craigslist ads can be a breeding ground for the most horrifying experiences imaginable. One such ad, Wanted, someone to watch my children, appeared to be a simple request from a mother looking for a reliable babysitter. But the truth behind the ad was far more sinister. A young girl desperate for money responded to the ad and was hired to watch the children. But when she arrived at the home, the atmosphere was tense and unnerving. The girl watched the children for a while before the woman offered her a drink, which she accepted. The girl woke up in a dark and unfamiliar room, bound and gagged, chained to a wall. She realized she had been drugged and kidnapped. She was kept in that room for weeks with no food or water. She could hear the sounds of other girls crying and screaming, and then one day, they took her away. It was later discovered that the woman who posted the ad was part of a sex trafficking ring, using the young girl as a pawn in her twisted game of exploitation and torture. The girl was rescued by police in a raid on the sex trafficking ring, but the trauma of her experience haunted her for the rest of her life. The ad wasn't taken off the website after that. Somewhere, someone could be its next victim. Don't let it be you. But before we continue to the most disturbing ad, be sure to subscribe to our channel if you are enjoying the video and want to see more like this one. Ad number 1. Free piano. Just come and take it. A free piano cost this couple something far worse than money. Free piano, just come and take it. It was a tempting offer for anyone who loved music, and for one couple, it was too good to pass up. They drove to the address listed in the ad, a remote and dilapidated house on the outskirts of town. When they arrived, the house was empty and the door was unlocked, as if waiting for them. They found the piano in the corner of the living room, covered in dust and cobwebs. It looked like it hadn't been played in years. The couple hesitated for a moment, but the allure of a free piano was too strong. The couple hesitated, but they were too enamored with the piano to leave. They sat down to play, and that's when things started to get strange. As they began to play, the couple realized that the music was coming from the piano itself. It was as if the keys were moving on its own, creating a macabre melody that sent shivers down their spine. The couple began to feel like they were no longer alone in the house. They heard whispers and footsteps, and strange shadows danced along the walls. So they tried to investigate. The couple cautiously walked to the other room and found an old record player sitting on a table, playing a haunting melody. The couple tried to leave, but the door wouldn't budge. It was like they were trapped in the house with the piano and something else. The couple were terrified and they knew they had to escape. They tried to force the door open, but it wouldn't budge. And that's when they heard the voice. Just come and take it. The couple fought with the door until it finally gave way, and they ran out of the house as fast as they could. They never spoke of that day again, but the memory of the piano and the presence lingered. The piano remained, its keys still playing by themselves in the dead of night, and the house, once empty and abandoned, was now alive with the sounds of music and whispers, luring unsuspecting victims into its grasp. Would you risk your life for a free piano? Or would you be more cautious and keep your distance? But a haunted piano is nothing compared to a plane that completely vanished into thin air. The biggest, Flight MH370, the biggest aviation mystery that could never be solved.